What if I told you that, as you sit there watching this video, something inside you might already be growing, quietly, invisibly, preparing to change everything about your life, and that the next time you go for a checkup, your doctor might lean in and say those three devastating words: "You have cancer." That may sound dramatic, and I wish it were an exaggeration, but the truth is, cancer doesn't begin with symptoms, it begins in silence, deep within your tissues, encoded in your DNA, and rooted in the everyday choices we barely notice, like the foods we casually put on our plates. Having studied this disease for decades and treated countless patients who never saw it coming, I often find myself wishing I could turn back time, not to change the outcome after the diagnosis, but to intervene before it ever arrived. That's the purpose of this video, not to scare you, but to offer a second chance. Because science has revealed something both remarkable and empowering. Certain vegetables don't merely lower your risk of cancer, they actively fight it at its origin. These natural compounds can dismantle precancerous cells, interrupt the signaling pathways that allow tumors to grow, and they do so in a way no synthetic drug ever could, gently, consistently, and with the sophisticated intelligence of nature itself. So I urge you to stay and watch closely, because if even one of these vegetables becomes a regular part of your kitchen, it might be the very thing that keeps you, or someone you love, off the operating table. And if this message resonates with you, don't let it stop here. Like this video, share it with someone who might need it, and subscribe, because there's a good chance that right now, someone out there needs this information more than you'll ever know. 1. Garlic, the ancient warrior of the immune army. Garlic isn't just a seasoning, it's an ancient medicinal powerhouse disguised as a kitchen staple. When crushed, it releases allicin, a sulfur compound with remarkable anti-cancer effects. It neutralizes rogue cells before they multiply, blocks the formation of blood vessels feeding tumors, supercharges natural killer cells, the immune system's first line of defense, and sensitizes cancer cells to chemotherapy and radiation. But preparation matters. You must chop it, then wait 10 minutes before cooking for allicin to form. Skip that, and you miss most of its magic. This tiny bulb works like both a supplement and a signal, sending a biochemical alert to your immune system: wake up. There's work to do. Jamal, a proud and fiercely independent high school history teacher, was caught off guard by colorectal cancer. During our first consultation, he hesitantly asked if he needed to stop cooking with garlic. I nearly laughed. Not at the question, but at how close he'd been to one of his greatest allies all along. Inspired by our conversation, Jamal began marinating his vegetables with raw garlic, stirring it into stews late in the cooking process, and even eating it crushed with olive oil on toast. Within months, his scans stabilized, but more importantly, he began to believe again, in food, in his body, in the possibility of healing. 2. Beets, the blood's natural ally and detox dynamo. Beets are more than just colorful root vegetables, they're biochemical marvels when it comes to detoxification and oxygen transport. Rich in betalains, these pigments have powerful anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties that protect cells from mutating under oxidative stress. But perhaps their most crucial role lies in enhancing nitric oxide production, which improves blood flow, delivers more oxygen to tissues, and supports immune cell mobility. Beets are also high in fiber, which supports gut health, and naturally stimulate phase 2 liver detoxification, the cleanup crew of our internal biochemistry. Whether roasted, grated raw, or blended into smoothies, beets help the body cleanse, oxygenate, and regulate, all in one bite. Marcus, a 52-year-old former paramedic, had battled chronic lymphocytic leukemia and was now in remission. But the fatigue never left him. "I feel like my blood is tired," he told me. That metaphor stuck. I explained how beets work, not only by supporting detox, but by boosting blood efficiency. We began slowly: roasted beet wedges with balsamic glaze, beet hummus with garlic and lemon, and raw grated beet added to salads for crunch and color. Soon, he felt the shift. His stamina improved, his color returned, and even his digestion smoothed out. What struck Marcus the most wasn't the dramatic change, but the steady, nourishing rhythm his body responded to. Beets became his symbol of clean blood, clear energy, and quiet strength. And when he juiced them alongside ginger and apple on early mornings, he said it felt like fueling up for battle, one he was now prepared to win. 3. Red cabbage, the liver's ally and hormone whisperer. Red cabbage is a nutritional overachiever hiding in plain sight. Rich in glucosinolates, it breaks down into isothiocyanates that activate liver detoxification, particularly phase 2, often sluggish in modern bodies overwhelmed by pollutants. Its deep violet pigment, powered by anthocyanins, combats chronic inflammation and shields cellular membranes from oxidative stress. For women facing hormone-sensitive cancers, this matters deeply. Poorly metabolized estrogen becomes toxic, but red cabbage helps convert it to safer forms. And when eaten raw, its cancer-fighting potential peaks, offering a rare form of chemical precision from a humble vegetable. Elena was 45, with no family history or obvious risk factors, yet she found herself battling hormone-sensitive breast cancer. "Why me?" she asked. Our investigation pointed to years of estrogen imbalance and sluggish detox. That's when I introduced her to red cabbage. She began shredding it raw into salads, pickling it with fennel and apple cider vinegar, and roasting it with garlic and lemon zest. Even rice paper rolls became purple-hued with its presence. Her hormonal markers improved steadily, and so did her sense of control. To her, red cabbage became more than food, it became a quiet force of rebalancing. 4. Mushrooms, the immune system's hidden weapon underground. Often underestimated, mushrooms are masterful immune modulators. Rich in beta-glucans, they train immune cells, macrophages and natural killer cells, to better detect and destroy abnormal cells. Beyond that, their lectins bind to cancer cell membranes, slowing proliferation, and some varieties interfere with angiogenesis, cutting off the blood supply tumors need to thrive. Mushrooms don't shout, but they orchestrate one of the most complex cellular defense strategies in nature. They are quiet doctors in the fungal kingdom, doing more under the surface than most superfoods above it. Priya, a breast cancer survivor haunted by fatigue and fear of recurrence, had never considered mushrooms a staple. When I told her about their immunological power, she was intrigued. Slowly, they became part of her daily ritual: shiitake sautéed into lentils, roasted portobellos as burger patties, reishi extracts blended into tea. 6 months in, her immune markers had improved, but more importantly, her anxiety eased. Mushrooms gave her something more profound than nutrition, they gave her back a quiet sense of resilience. For survivors like Priya, that meant everything. 5. Sweet potatoes, the underground reservoir of cellular resilience. Sweet potatoes are nature's slow-burning miracle, roots of resilience beneath the soil. Rich in beta-carotene, they support immune cell differentiation and quench inflammation at the genomic level. But their power doesn't end with one antioxidant. Sweet potatoes also provide anthocyanins, especially in purple varieties, which modulate gene expression and suppress tumor growth. Their slow-digesting fiber supports gut flora, which in turn shapes immunity, inflammation, and even estrogen metabolism. And because they're naturally sweet, they help people transition away from sugar-laden, inflammatory foods without feeling deprived. They're not flashy, but they're profoundly fortifying. Angela, a 55-year-old former nurse recovering from uterine cancer, was struggling with cravings and insulin resistance post-treatment. She feared eating carbs, especially anything sweet. "Isn't that dangerous?" she asked. I smiled. "Not if it's the right kind." We began with roasted orange sweet potatoes drizzled with cinnamon, then moved to purple sweet potato mash, and later into grain-free brownies made with sweet potato puree. Not only did her cravings ease, but her blood sugar stabilized, and her inflammatory markers began to fall. More importantly, she no longer felt like healing was about punishment. Sweet potatoes reintroduced comfort to her table, without guilt. They became her symbol of softness with strength, sweetness with substance. And for Angela, that balance was the beginning of peace. 6. Broccoli, the green assassin with cellular precision. Broccoli isn't just nutritious, it's strategic. Its superstar compound, sulforaphane, activates detox enzymes, repairs damaged DNA, and tells dysfunctional cells to self-destruct. Most impressively, it targets cancer stem cells, the ones responsible for relapse. Yet overcooking diminishes its power. Light steaming or eating broccoli sprouts, which contain up to 100x more sulforaphane, ensures maximum benefit. It's not just a vegetable, it's cellular warfare, precision engineered by nature. Sarah, a stage 2 breast cancer survivor, came to me determined not to just recover, but to fight back. Broccoli became her weapon of choice. She embraced sprouts, sprinkling them over bowls, blending them into smoothies, and snacking on them raw. Her energy rebounded, and her blood markers improved. But the real shift came in her mindset. Food became action. For Sarah, every bite was a choice, a declaration, I'm not done yet. That's what broccoli can do, it doesn't just nourish, it empowers. 7. Brussels sprouts, the underrated commander of hormonal health. Brussels sprouts may be small, but their impact is anything but. Rich in indole, 3-carbinol and DIM, they assist the liver in metabolizing estrogen into safer, less aggressive forms, critical for those at risk of hormone-sensitive cancers. They also activate phase 2 detox enzymes, supporting the body in flushing out toxins. Though bitter to some, pairing them with sweet and acidic ingredients unlocks both their flavor and their therapeutic power. They're not the hero we expect, but often, they're the one we need. Monique, just 38, was navigating her second fight with ovarian cancer. I feel like my own hormones betrayed me, she said. Brussels sprouts became our biochemical allies. Roasted with garlic and sea salt, shaved into slaws with citrus and apple, even tossed with pomegranate and fennel, they became part of her weekly rotation. As her hormonal markers improved, so did her relationship with her body. She no longer saw food as punishment. She saw it as a strategy. In her journey, Brussels sprouts weren't just vegetables. They were agents of balance. Your daily armor against an invisible enemy. Let me leave you with a story, not from the clinic, but from a moment that changed me forever. Years ago, I sat across from a man whose cancer had returned aggressively. After hearing the prognosis, he didn't cry. He didn't panic. He asked one simple question: if I had eaten differently, would it have mattered? I didn't answer him immediately. Because I knew the truth wasn't simple, cancer isn't fair. It doesn't always follow logic. But what I've learned after decades of research, treatment, and walking this path with thousands of patients is this: your choices matter. Not perfectly, but profoundly. The vegetables we've explored today aren't magic bullets, but they are biochemical interventions, daily reinforcements that tilt the odds in your favor. Garlic trains your immune army, strengthening your body's first line of defense against cellular threats. Beets boost detoxification and improve blood flow, helping your tissues stay oxygenated and resilient under stress. Red cabbage supports hormone balance and fortifies liver function with its vibrant antioxidants. Mushrooms orchestrate a sophisticated immune response, activating and coordinating the cells that defend you from within. Sweet potatoes influence inflammation and gene expression, offering deep nourishment as well as protection. Broccoli, especially in sprout form, helps neutralize toxins and dismantle cancer stem cells at the source. And Brussels sprouts, those often misunderstood little spheres, may help prevent cancer before it ever begins. But none of it works if it's a one-time effort. It works when it's a way of life. When food becomes your daily vote for survival, for resilience, for staying here longer with the people you love. So here's my challenge to you: don't just watch this video and forget it. Choose one vegetable today, add it to your plate, then do it again tomorrow, and the next day. Because that's how legacies are changed, not in hospitals, but at home, in kitchens, one conscious choice at a time. If this story resonated with you, please like this video. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And subscribe to this channel for more stories, strategies, and science that empower healing. The fight against cancer doesn't begin with a diagnosis, it begins now, right here, with you.